Give me a big smoochy poo.
This is the Say It Can't Gamer, and you are live with the MMA-holes.
Mixed martial a-holes. MMA-holes, 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 MMA-holes. You like to be a mixed martial a-hole. MMA-holes, 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 MMA-holes.
No way.
From the Queen Studios of New York. We back. Contender Series Fight Week, UFC Fight Week. Fight Week. MMA news with the MMA-holes. Yeah! Wonderful. All right, Jesse, we're here, we're live, and we are wonderful. Jesse, how are you?
So wonderful, Moss. How are you?
Super chat. Greg Arias.
10 more years. More holes for all. Good night.
Good night, Greg. Thank you for the super chat.
Years.
Dana White, 10 more years. Episode 80 of the MMA-holes Hour. 10 more years of Dana White. Looks like he renegotiated his contract, and now he's going for another decade.
So,
A decade.
does this mean that the MMA-holes goes for another decade?
I'm going to raise your voice a little bit. You're a little low. There we go. Good.
Does this mean that the MMA-holes go for another decade?
Well, this is the deal, Jesse. As long as Dana White
Yes.
is the president of the UFC,
Yes.
if that's even his title, I don't even know, the face of the UFC, the MMA-holes will be live. When Dana White leaves,
I'll be 33 years old.
I'll be 74. When Dana White leaves, we're going to shut this channel down. So the fate of the MMA-holes is in the hands of Dana White.
I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that.
No?
No, I think when the UFC ends, when MMA is banned from the United States, that's when the MMA-holes ends.
When MMA... What? Then we'll never end.
That's the point.
Oh.
Wonderful.
Well, enough horsing around. 10 more years of Dana White. Some people are happy. Some people are like, get Uncle Fester out of there. I am happy, Jesse. I don't mind Dana. I do question some of his decisions or
Yes.
some of his comments. You know,
Yes.
sometimes you scratch your head and you're like, Dana, why did you say that? But without Dana White, I don't see the UFC. I know that everyone is replaceable and they can slide someone in there and maybe a charismatic person can take over. But Dana White is the UFC, right? I mean, the face at least.
Yes, the face. I don't like that I'm this loud because I feel like if I get any louder than what I'm talking right now, then I'm going to be screaming in people's ears. I feel like I had it at a perfect...
Well, I was listening to the podcast at the gym and you were very quiet.
Oh,
and I need
really?
more Jesse. Yeah, so you're good, Jess. Just talking to that mic and then just pull away when you're going to scream.
Okay.
Kind of like the microphone's about to explode with jizz. You know, you got to pull away a little bit. Let that just fly around the room
It's
before it
just
hits your
weird
face.
hearing my own voice now.
Yeah, that's what you sound like. All right, so Jesse is loud and clear. And MMA-holes, what do you think of Dana White 10 more years? I'd love to know what you think in the chat. We have a lot of news to get to. An exciting show tonight.
That dude says, Edwin, that's not very old. Staley Vigo says, Vlad, I'm glad you went default. Tonal Bitcher says, the dude says 55 and up is getting old. Edwin Alexander says, all I hear from JBH is murmur. Greg O'Blay says, drunk savage. Art Vandalay says, as painful as it is, he made the UFC. David Flores says, Gracie's made the sport. Dana built and brought it to what it is today. Facts. Greg O'Blay says, drunk savage. much. Kevin from Chicago says, Jews approve, and I miss the rest. And he says, hello, Chris and Jesse. Hello, NH. Jason
Hello.
Block says, I'm happy with Dana being there. Another 10. Who could replace him?
No one can. No one can replace Uncle Fester
Chael
Dana White.
Sonnen.
Well, you did bring that up last time. Chael Sonnen would be a good option, right? And Chael Sonnen has retired. We'll discuss that. The Bellator event on Friday was interesting. It was good, the prelims. I mean, the main card just slowly declined for me. But the prelims are good.
Didn't decline for me.
No?
I don't think the Neiman Gracie fight was as good as everyone expected it to be. But, I feel like the Chael Sonnen, with him retiring and everything, it kind of added to the entertainment factor. But I do agree that the main event was kind of shitty.
Well, what do you think about Dillon Danis being on Ariel Helwani's show, right? And saying that Neiman Gracie is shitty at jiu-jitsu. He's overrated.
He's just looking for hype, Dillon Danis. He's looking for a headline. Yeah, of course he is.
Do you think he might be shitty, though?
No.
Little padded record?
I think it was just a bad fight. You know, I think every fighter has that one dud, and I think that Rory McDonald might have been a dud for Neiman Gracie.
Yeah, Rory he's still got it, right? He's not the Rory of old, but he's still got something there. He's still a psychopath. And we've seen some fights where Rory kind of, dipped off. But in this fight over here, I guess I can't kill Gracie for the loss in this fight. But if you look at what Fitch did to Rory, and then you look at Gracie, I mean, I wasn't impressed by his performance.
Not impressed by your performance.
No, I wasn't. Anyway, what do you think in the chat about the Bellator card? But more importantly, Jesse, I want to know your opinion of the Dana White situation. Let's talk about this. 10 more years,
yes.
Dana White.
Yes. Would you like me to read the article?
No, I want to know your fucking opinion. I asked you.
I love it.
Oh,
I absolutely, like you said, he's the face of the UFC, and as much cringe as he can bring to the MMA community at times, Dana White is it. Dana White is what made the UFC what it is today. Him and the Fertitta Brothers. So, how could you not want Dana White to be part of this type of promotion for even longer? Yeah, and even if you disagree with things that he says, he's real. He says exactly what everybody's thinking, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, this guy, I don't know. I love it. I love the fact that he signed for longer.
Well, what do you think about some of the people are saying, well, Dana White is around for 10 more years. This means the fighters are not going to make any money.
Listen, I think there's always room for negotiation in every situation. So I think that even 4 years, 5 years down the line, I'm sure the fighters and Dana White could come to some sort of conclusion that satisfies everybody. But none of us can predict the future, and that's something we just have to wait and see. As far as the promotion goes and the marketing for the promotion and what he's done for it, I'd say that it's excellent. It's great that he's signed for longer.
All right. Now, I want to hear from the people in the chat that don't like Dana White. There are a lot of people out there. We've seen it before. Express yourself right now in that chat about Dana White. I want to hear the people that don't like him, that don't want him here for another 10 years. Who would be a good replacement, and why don't you like Dana White? I think Dana's perfect for the job. I think, like Jesse said, piggybacking off of it, it's the Fertitta Brothers. They're the ones that you really have to pat on the back for the UFC. But Dana White is the face, and the Fertitta Brothers said that. They basically gave him full control and says, hey, buddy, listen, you're going to go out there and you're going to promote this sport. If you have an idea, we're going to back you. Fuck me.
Wonderful.
They cleaned out their pockets. They threw money in his direction, and it worked.
Yeah.
$4 billion later, they, now there's another story we'll talk about, but they're just fine from this whole situation. So I want to know from the chat, what do you think of Dana White? I don't know, what the fuck was that? Like, it was just like, ESPN Plus, hire me. All right, go ahead.
The altitude got to you.
Maybe.
Justin Jr. says, I don't want Dana for another 10 years. I want him for another 21 years.
Oh!
Wonderful.
Kevin from Chicago says, perfect guy for the job is Ben Askren. Hewitt Liar says, well, time to slip my wrists and hop into a warm bathtub.
Okay.
That's horrible. Alan Rocket says he needs to pay the fighters more. Agreed. Brandon Lewis says Dana had an unlimited checkbook to run this company. He did a great job, and they went from $2 million to $4 billion. I'll take that any day. NH says Moss got so excited he got all tongue twisted up. LOL. Michael Anzalone says, Dana is a multimillionaire. He can retire anytime, but he decided to stay. That shows me he loves the sport. Well, he loves what he does.
Yeah, I think he doesn't want to go anywhere, right? He has more money than anyone right now, and he's just like, you know what, screw it. This is fun.
But more importantly, that dude wants to know if you would give me to Dana for an assistant job.
For an assistant job? If you wanted to do it, knock yourself out. I would hate to lose you in the show, though.
No, he wants to know, would you give me to Dana?
Well,
I think for you to have an assistant job.
What? Chris, would you give JBH to Dana for an assistant job? What?
I think...
Or have you have sex with Dana White for an assistant job?
No.
What is he talking about?
I'm thinking like...
All right, let's move on. My head's going to explode. We don't... What are you asking? We don't know. Help us here. Help us, please. All right, let's get into the story. We have an hour of sexiness tonight. Let's get right into the news on the MMA-holes.com. The picture we are showing right now looks like something from an 80s sitcom, right? It's like, ba-da-da-da, 3 guys. It's like 3 Men and a Baby, right? But maybe it's 2 Men and a Baby. Dana White's
great.
the baby. All right, let's go.
I love this picture. They're all so happy. All right, according to MMA junkie Dana White says he signed a new 10-year UFC deal and is interested in buying an NFL team with the Fertittas.
Oh.
Wonderful.
UFC president Dana White won't be leaving the UFC anytime soon. While guest hosting an episode of LV Sports Biz Guerrilla Cross Radio, the UFC Don announced he recently signed a new 10-year deal with the company. While White will continue his usual business ventures for another decade, he also displayed interest in dabbling in new endeavors. One potential pursuit White is considering is reuniting with former UFC owners Lorenzo Fertitta and Frank Fertitta in their quest to purchase an NFL franchise. He said, quote, TMZ just got Lorenzo Fertitta the other day in New York, and Lorenzo confirmed that they are looking at NFL teams. Mm-hmm. He also added, I heard the Panthers, that the Broncos were available, that the Chargers might be up for sale. We'll have to see how this plays out, but yeah, if they buy a team, I'm in. I will partner up with them. According to White, this isn't the first time the UFC president and the Fertitta brothers have joined forces to consider purchasing a pro sports franchise when he said, we had looked at something a couple years ago, not in the NFL. In the NBA, we looked at a team and we got outbid, me and the brothers. When host Alan Snell asked if the team he was referring to was the Houston Rockets, White raised his eyebrows and smirked, saying, quote, might be. The Rockets were purchased by Lorenzo Fertitta's cousin, Tillman Fertitta, in 2017. Regardless of the potential franchise for grabs, the idea of teaming up with the Fertittas is tremendously appealing to White. The UFC president even envisions a day when the three once again work together on a daily basis.
So there you go. All right, so maybe an NFL team for the trio again. They're back in business together. Looks like the Fertittas did want to get involved in something, and maybe the NFL, who knows. But Dana White, 10 more years with the UFC. In the chat, if you can do me a favor, can you caption this picture? I'm sure you guys are intelligent people, right? Can you please caption this picture? I mean, there are so many jokes you could make about this picture. So please, indeed, do it now in the chat. Give this picture a caption. I'd love to see what the submissions are right now. Because, and to the people listening on Podbean and iTunes, it's Lorenzo's on the right? Dana's in the middle. And I don't remember the other guy. Frank Fertitta? No,
yeah,
is that?
Frank Fertitta.
He's like the mystery guy that's been floating around that he doesn't get much airtime. But yeah, the Fertittas and Dana White. The Fertittas on the sides and Dana in the middle. I would love to know what you would caption this picture. Let's see what the chat has to say.
Brett Wilson says, hey, Pulse, where were you once reloaded?
Oh.
That dude says, 2.5 men. Vigo from Chicago says, one of these men is JBH's real father. Van Shipman says, 3-piece and an Ensure. Post resurrected with the 2 men and a baby emojis. Henry Solstice says Dana White just doesn't care. Potter Deacon says gay agent's dreams. Daily Vigo says I hope Anthony Davis breaks both his legs opening night. Kevin from Chicago says 3 goys. Post reloaded resurrected says no, I wasn't. Clock says I rather have Dana who gets upset at bad decisions, speaks his mind and gives us what he wants rather than Bob Arum or Deloya. Mind Over Me says 2.5 men. Evan Aguilar says, when you guys are all faggots in one photo, doesn't make any sense. Faggot. Justin Jr. says, with my virgin friends. David Flores Jr. says, queer eye for the bald guy. Henry Sills says, booby trap, pervert cameraman. That's not nice. Daily says, Greg Odom Blaze, the great benefactor, says, they all will go broke. Juvenile Johnny says, golden Oreo with extra double stuffed white in the middle. Infinite Conscious says Dana is me tooing them.
All right. So there's the submissions in the chat room. And if you're watching this on a replay, knock yourself out. Drop it in the comment section. This photo over here, what would you caption it? It's interesting. Wait, I don't know what happened here. Right? They look very happy.
Yeah,
it looks
of
like a
course.
bunch of rich guys. Like, this is what rich white guys look like when they hang out together. Right? Where is, I don't know. We see Dana's hands, but where are the other hands? There's interesting stuff going on there. I don't know. And how do you get three men to laugh like this? You tickle them before the shoot? What happens?
Dana White probably made some sort of grotesque joke. And everybody started laughing at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
Out of uncomfortableness.
I'm uncomfortable right now talking about this. All right, let's see what the next story is in the news.
All right. According to ESPN.com, Sonnen retires from MMA after his loss to Machida. We actually got to see this.
And, Jesse,
Yesy?
can you just brush this off my shoulder for a second?
What am I brushing off?
Just this right here.
Okay.
Just to get that off my shoulder because the Mystical got it right again. Once again,
Yes.
another retirement, calls it before he even stepped in the cage. Chael Sonnen says goodbye.
Yeah.
Last fight, and I found out it was his last fight of the contract afterwards. I found it out today, actually.
Yeah, Ariel said it.
So look at that. Chael Sonnen is gone. He is done with MMA. I think it's the right move. But let's hear the story.
According to ESPN.com, New York, for more than 20 years, Chael Sonnen prided himself as a mixed martial artist who would always make the walk on Friday. He did so for the final time. Sonnen, who's 42 years old, retired in Bellator MMA cage Friday following a second-round TKO loss to former UFC champion Lyoto Machida. The 205-pound bout co-headlined Bellator 222, which took place inside Madison Square Garden. The announcement brings Sonnen's 22-year professional career to an end. The Oregon native, who is also an MMA analyst for ESPN, finishes with a final record of 30-17-1. He said in his post-fight interview, quote, "I had a hell of a lot of fun. I had a good run. I'm walking out. I appreciate the memories, and goodbye."
Oh, you know what? Oh, fuck. I forgot who posted it here of Chael's post-fight press conference. I got to find it, Jess.
Oh, where he cried?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah, and it was on Twitter.
No, well, yeah, it was on Twitter as well, but let's see. Let me see if I can find
Yeah,
it.
I saw that earlier.
But it wasn't just on Twitter. A friend of ours, and I can't remember his name. I can't remember his Instagram account. Apparently, he's not a good friend. Who's the guy we always pull clips from? Oh, fuck, I forgot your name. Well, I guess we're not friends anymore. All right, let's see Chael crying. Let's see if I can find the clip.
That
Did
we
you
always
guys
pull clips from?
Yeah, the guy, he's awesome on Instagram. He always puts the latest news out there. Actually, if I find him, you know what I'm talking about. You just don't know who I'm talking about right now. But I'm like, this guy's really good. He's got a ton of followers on Instagram. He knows us. He likes our stuff as well. And he's always putting the latest news, like breaking news. He's always putting it on Instagram. Inside the Cage or some shit like that. Or what the fuck was his name? Well, if you're watching, drop your name in the chat because Jesse has you know who I'm talking about. The picture is like him doing a selfie. That's his profile picture, which doesn't really narrow it down. But
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'd know. Like,
I mean, we don't know many people that are posting latest MMA news on Instagram that know us. You know, like we know of people that do it, but that actually know us as well. And Against the Cage or some shit like that. What is his name?
is it Against the Cage?
Oh, let's look. Well, I mean, I asked you.
No, I mean, that sounds...
I think it's Against the Cage. I can't fucking remember. Anyway, let's look for Chael crying. Let's see if I can find it. It's funny. Sometimes your memory is like ridiculous. Like it's just like spot on, and then there's other times where it's like, huh? Let's see.
Well, I guess this is one of those times.
Yeah, this is huh? Let's see if we can find it. Hit me with the ones in the chat if you saw him crying. It's fantastic. All right, let's listen. Let's see. This is.
That was no. Joanna.
It's
So
not-
you
it's
know
the
there
whole-
was some.
It's the fucking whole press conference. I want to see him cry. Where is when he's like oh god, it's the whole fucking thing. Can someone DM
That
us
first,
the fucking clip?
the first link was this just some emotional retirement speech? That one?
Let's see.
Co-promote? Yeah. Oh, Josh, wouldn't that be fun? If we could all just start doing something. I mean, they've been doing it for boxing
You got some voice, huh?
for time, and I don't know what's going to be the real holdup for MMA fan. That's
Possibility of you resuming your political career.
oh, maybe. You know, I was very fortunate.
Oh, where is
Also a
it?
little bit nerve-wracking here. So
I think it's Against the Cage, by the way.
see, I had a lot
One more, Danny.
Right now, what do you think he'd say to you?
I just tell him I tried.
There it is. All right. Here we go. You ready? I mean, we shouldn't be laughing at this because we're horrible people, but let me zoom in a little bit. Now, Chael is awesome. Chael was on the show briefly. He's an awesome dude. One of my favorites. And, you know, it's got to be emotional, right? You retire from a sport you love. This has been his job for a long time. And here we go.
I'm just wondering if you could have a conversation with your dad right now, what do you think he'd say to you?
I just tell him I tried.
With your dad right now, what do you think he'd say to you?
I just tell him I tried.
If you hear the baby in the background, it's like foreshadowing over there, right?
I just tell him I tried.
Right now, what do you think he'd say to you?
I just tell him I tried.
So, yeah, Chael Sonnen, he would tell his dad he tried.
I just tell him I tried.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Let's see what the chat has to say.
He loves his pops, didn't want to break a promise, says James Leatherwood. Kevin from Chicago says, Chael is from the West Coast. He can't help it. They're soft over there. Henry Sosa says, I hate this wave of children on everything. JW, you've changed, Chris.
I'm sorry.
You've changed, Chris.
Does he have a picture of Jesus as his profile picture? Is that Jesus telling me I changed?
You should have responded by just saying, I tried.
You can't stop this.
Just tell him I tried.
Choo-choo, motherfuckers.
Are you interested in making $3,000 on a $100 investment? Great. Sign up for MMA-holes Patreons to get real Reals baseball, hockey and basketball picks. Get rich with Real. Hashtag hookers and coke, hashtag BetDSI, hashtag cooning out with baseball.
Thank you, Real Bets. He's on fire with BetDSI.
I just tell him I tried.
And he tries. You know, Real does try. Thank you for the donation. Anyone else want to donate? Knock yourself out. All right, so there we go. Chael Sonnen has retired. And go follow Real on Instagram. And it sucks, but it's the right move. He's 42 years old.
Yeah.
It's time to move on. Lyoto Machida looked pretty good, so that's that, right?
That's that, Moss. Mostables.
I just tell him I tried.
We tried too, Chael.
What else do we have in the news?
According to BJ...
Whoa, look at the size of his BBC, Jess. Check this out. Is this his cock? Look at it. Look how long that thing is. Fuck. How do they... Look at the size of his cock, Jesse. Dillon Danis has a huge black cock. Look at this. What?
Wonderful, wonderful.
All right, what's his predictions? What potential? What's going on here?
According to BJPen.com, Dillon Danis makes a bold prediction for a potential MMA fight with Jon Jones.
Okay.
Last weekend, on the main card of Bellator 222, Dillon Danis improved to 2-0 in MMA with a submission victory over Max Humphrey shortly after this sophomore win. The Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist and Conor McGregor's stablemate made yet another call-out of reigning UFC light heavyweight champ, Jon Jones. Speaking on Monday's edition of Ariel Helwani's MMA show, Danis made a bold prediction for a potential fight with the light heavyweight legend, despite the fact that he would be surrendering roughly 30 pounds of weight to Jones.
This is so ridiculous.
And quite a bit of height and length. Danis is confident he could earn the tap if he attacked the UFC champ's legs. He said this, I offered to do a grappling match with him. If we fought in MMA, I feel like from his stance and how tall he is, if I did in Imanari roll.
Hold on real quick, and we're going to get back into this. Sure. Zion Lux, I'm talking about the big black thing over here. I'm not talking about the joke was he has a big black thing between his legs. Are you retarded? Oh, okay. He said no, so I guess he's not.
He said, I would take his leg home with me. Why not? I come from jiu-jitsu where we fight the biggest guys. I fought guys that are like 300 pounds in jiu-jitsu. You have to do it. I fought 7 of them in the same day, so I don't know, man. I'm a different kind of martial artist. I've been doing this since I was a kid, training with anybody and anywhere. If Dillon Danis did manage to defeat Jon Jones, he'd succeed where stars like Mauricio Shogun Rua, Quinton Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Chael Sonnen, Vitor Belfort, Alexander Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, Ovince St. Preux, Daniel Cormier, and Anthony Smith have failed. Yet, while the odds would surely be stacked against him in this prospective matchup, there is no questioning his confidence.
I think that Chael has to be a soundbite. What do you think, Jess?
Yes.
I just tell him I tried. Let me know with the ones if it should be a soundbite. And by the way, Kainoto says no one stands a chance against that black chode. So he's picking Dillon Danis over Jon Jones because of checking out this black chode over here. Come on. All right, let's talk Dillon Danis for a second. Okay, I know you guys love the guy. He's 2-0 now.
Yes.
He's undefeated.
Yes.
He's got all the belts.
Yes. He's
got a lot of confidence. When I watch him on Ariel, he says cringy things, but he doesn't. He seems like a normal dude. But then when you look at his Instagram and you hear the thing, you see the things that he posts over there, and you look at his Twitter, and you're like, this guy's fucking annoying and obnoxious.
Yes.
But when you watch him interviewed on Ariel, he's like talking shit. Yeah, he's like, hey, how's it going, buddy? Like he's just like a normal guy, right?
Yeah.
So I'm confused by his persona. With that being said, he claims that he is going to be the next greatest thing out there, right? Dillon Danis.
Well, all fighters do that.
Well, not the way he's doing it, right? I mean, he's really going for it.
So is Henry Cejudo.
Well, I mean, this is apples and oranges. Henry Cejudo, gold medal winner. Henry Cejudo with a ton of UFC fights under his belt already. You know,
Double
is already
champ.
Established. Okay.
Yes.
Dillon Danis. Ariel asked him, "You think it's time to fight? When do you think it's time to fight a ranked fighter?" And he's like, "Right now, I think I'm ready." But he's like, I'm going to take it slow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it kind of contradicts what the fuck he's saying. Right? He's calling all these guys out. And then he's like, well, I'm just going to take it slow against nobodies.
He's not really calling out Jon Jones. He's saying that he believes he could be a potential winner against him down the road. He's not saying he wants to fight Jon Jones right now, but he believes that he will be the next contender. He'll be.
I'm not talking about Jon Jones though. I'm basically talking about everyone that he's calling out. I mean, he calls out everybody. You
know what I think it is? I think he hangs out with Conor so much, that he just feels like take over the character a little.
Well, he is definitely dipping into Conor's bag of tricks, but at the same time, he's doing it way different, right? Conor kind of went in there and started sparking people, knocking them out, right? Dillon's like, okay, I'm going to choke you out. That's his approach. Look at James Gallagher. James Gallagher tried that approach, and then he got humbled really quick. Yeah. I feel with Dillon Danis, the same thing is going to happen. It's going to come time where he's going to catch someone's hand, and he's going to go to sleep real fucking quick.
Right.
So I understand he's using that technique, but maybe that technique is been there, done that. Maybe Conor exhausted that thing where it's like, okay, it worked for him, and now that is not cool anymore, Dillon. It's not cool anymore, Mr. Gallagher.
Speaking of Gallagher, we do have something on him too.
Maybe we should segue into that, but before we get there, let's play a word from our sponsor. And Jess is gonna speak about it. BetDSI.
Just because you're not in Vegas doesn't mean you can't bet on MMA and UFC. BetDSI offers online wagering and has been paying winners for 20 years. Use the link in the description with promo code MMA-hole, all one word, and get up to 100% bonus match as well as $25 welcome bonus today. BetDSI also offers betting options for everything, including NFL, NCAA football, NBA, NHL, UFC, and all the major sports, politics, reality TV, esports, virtually everything.
Anything.
We play there ourselves and recommend BetDSI if you want to add some excitement to the fights or any other sports you are watching. Once again, go to BetDSI with the link in the description below using promo code MMA-hole, all one word, and get this limited time 100% bonus offer, as well as $25 welcome bonus to make some extra cash on the sports you know and love. It's only a game until you bet it at BetDSI.
Wonderful.
That's right. Real's killing it on BetDSI. Henry Soltis has made some cash on BetDSI. We got some bets on BetDSI. Promo code MMA-hole. Get them in. We have some fights this weekend that we got bare knuckle and we have UFC this Saturday. Tomorrow night, we got the Contender Series. We're going to be live tonight. We are live tonight. Tomorrow, Tuesday night Contender Series. Hannah Goldie, who I got the pleasure of being inside a cage with her. It wasn't what you think it is, Jesse.
I don't.
We didn't fight.
Yeah.
It was an interview.
Yeah.
I didn't fight her because she's a lot more muscular than me and she would destroy me. But, Hannah Goldie will be fighting tomorrow. She's 4-0. She's got big muscles, and she's married to...
Alex the Spartan Nicholson.
Thank you. Wonderful. Brain farts tonight. Yeah, Alex Nicholson, who said to us in the cage a year ago, said, Hannah Goldie is moving on. Trust me, we've had conversations, and she's got big things in the future. Here we are. Tomorrow night, we're going to find out if Hannah is the real deal. Let's pull up a picture of her real quick so you kind of have an idea who we're talking about. And there she is, Hannah Goldie. This is actually when she was more feminine, Jesse. Even though she's got gigantic biceps here. She is tremendous, this girl now. She's, completely, I feel so inferior when I look at her. I'm like, I'll never have muscles like this girl, ever. It's an impossibility for me.
She works hard.
And I'll never have luscious hair like her either, Jesse,
All right.
But yeah, she's fighting tomorrow. Wednesday show Wednesday, and we will be live for Fuko Friday, and then the fights. Let's talk about this. UFC, right? The Korean Zombie back in the cage. Getting it done. Moicano is his opponent, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I don't fucking remember anything anymore.
Yes,
there we go.
yes.
Moicano versus the Korean Zombie will be happening, and then we're going to roll over to bare knuckle. So that's going to be a lot of reacting, Jesse. You ready for that?
Yes.
All right. I'm glad you're ready for that. Let's play another thing over here. Now, the thing that's going to get you through this week of a lot of live streaming is something that relaxes you,
Yes.
Something that brings you to the next level.
Right?
Of peace.
I can guess what this is. Timeless CBD sees a gap in the industry between quality and affordability. This is a CBD company that strives to make top-notch products at prices people can afford. All of Timeless CBD's products are carefully handmade at their facility. Each and every batch is third-party tested. Visit Timeless CBD with the link in the description and get your hands on only the best CBD products, such as full-spectrum oils, gummies, pain salves, freezes, BCAAs, and more. Use promo code MMA-hole, all one word, for up to 20% off of your entire order. We use Timeless CBD on a daily, and we haven't felt this good in years. We recommend Timeless CBD to anyone seeking treatment for numerous conditions. Once again, visit Timeless CBD with the link in the description using promo code MMA-hole, all one word, and get up to 20% off of your entire purchase.
Yeah, that's right. 20% off. Promo code MMA-hole. We pop some gummies before the show.
That's right.
And those things are...
Wonderful.
All right. We were talking about bare knuckle, Jesse.
Yes.
What's going on with this Paulie Malignaggi ruffling some feathers?
Oh, you guys are going to love this one. According to BJPenn.com, Paulie Malignaggi credits, quote, fucking stupid MMA fans for setting up easy Artem Lobov payday.
Now, before you get into this article, I don't know what you're about to read, but...
You're going to love it.
This is shtick, man. This is 100% shtick.
I don't really know about that. I think he firmly believes that MMA fans are complete assholes.
Shtick. He just wants his name in the news. He has a big fight. Well, not big fight. A popular fight. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
With Artem Lobov this Saturday. But when we went to CES 56, they dragged Paulie Malignaggi inside a cage on Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass. He was there to support his boy Gotti III, right?
Right.
In a mixed martial arts environment. This is a man that's saying that, mixed martial arts fans are assholes and blah, 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 and, they're retarded and whatever he's calling us.
I didn't even think about that. That's a very
He
valid
pulls.
point.
They pull him into the CES cage, and he's just on the microphone like, yeah, man, I'm just supporting my buddy. I thought you thought we were all assholes. It's a shtick. This is complete hogwash what this guy's doing. So if you get offended by what he's saying about, it's just to get views, sell pay-per-views, get people over to Fight TV. That's all he's doing. But let's see what he has to say over here.
All right. This weekend in the main event of BKFC 6 in Tampa, Florida, former boxing champ Paulie Malignaggi will meet UFC veteran Artem Lobov in a bare-knuckle fight. Given his accolades in the boxing arena, Malignaggi is expecting an easy night out of work against his foe. And he's thanking the, quote, fucking stupid MMA fans that support Lobov for helping to set this easy night of work up for him. This is what he told MMA Fighting. I think of it like, thank God that this fan base in MMA is so fucking stupid that they actually have made this possible. A fight this easy is possible in a main event situation. That's how I look at it. I look at it in a thankful way. From that perspective, I say, yeah, I can't believe I'm here. I've been in the ring with top fighters, main events inside stadiums in the biggest arenas in the world. I've been announced as a world champion. Believe me, it all goes through my mind. And now I'm fighting this guy who I don't think has ever fought a guy who's been a world champion, let alone fight for a title. So I catch myself and I say, I can only be thankful. There's no way realistically possible to have a fight this easy against a bum of this level unless there's a fan base this stupid. This is not the first time Malignaggi has taken a shot at the MMA community, however. Speaking after last month's BKFC 6 pre-fight press conference, the former boxing champ ripped MMA fans for the way they've disrespected the sport of boxing. In the same interview with MMA Fighting, Paulie Malignaggi admitted that he is willing to squash his beef with Artem Lobov after the fight, so long as Lobov issues an apology specifically for the way Malignaggi was portrayed by Lobov and Conor McGregor's camp in 2017. He said, quote, I expect an apology and an admittance of the lies. If I get that, there can be respect, no problem. We're both men, and we should be upfront as men. I've been nothing but upfront. I think if there was mutual respect, he would admit all they did was lie and were hyping things. Then we could have respect and could be cool about it. But if he keeps lying about it, I might beat his ass again after I'm done.
So Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem the Goat Lobov going down. Jesse, who do you pick in this fight?
Oh, God. You know what? As an MMA fan, I want to say Gopov, but as a realistic and as far as strategy goes for a pick, here's my thing. Let me just explain this before I give a pick.
Okay.
And this was something that was brought up a little while back in one of our shows, that Artem Lobov knows what it feels like to get hit with a bare knuckle, right? He's been in the fight before, and he showed a lot of heart in that fight with Jason Knight. Paulie Malignaggi hasn't been hit with a bare knuckle yet, in this championship at least. So I worry that because he's so used to the gloves that he wears boxing, that maybe this isn't going to be as easy for him as he thinks it will.
Paulie Malignaggi, first of all, if Paulie Malignaggi gets knocked out in this fight, it would be the best thing ever. Like, Artem Lobov, a 500 MMA fighter, goes into bare knuckle and becomes a god. Like, he goes from the goat to a god. People will be singing his praises. If Artem Lobov, I mean, here's the thing. He's always been everyone's been, he's been that goat joke. Everyone's been buying into that. And then this fight against Jason Knight was a complete dogfight. It was a slugfest. And this just catapulted him. This just made it more fun to root for the guy, And credit to Jason Knight. He really turned up in that fight. And in fact, if it went a couple more rounds, Knight might have finished him, but it didn't. And I think if Artem Lobov can beat Paulie Malignaggi in his own game, I mean, it is still boxing, it would really catapult Artem to like immortal status. It'd be hilarious. Paulie should, on paper, Paulie should win this fight. But we have a smaller ring, right? With no gloves and really no place to run. He can run, but how much can he run? There's not really much room for that. So Paulie's got to trade with them. So Paulie's probably going to be the faster fighter. He's going to be the more technical fighter. But not having the gloves up, those big pads blocking, and not being able to run so much and stick and move, if Artem catches him, Paulie can go down. He can drop. So it's fascinating. It's a fascinating event this Saturday.
Yeah.
Let's see what the chat says.
Internal says, hey, Paulie, the Shadow Man says, Staley Vigo, I work for the devil collecting souls. James Leatherwood says, Artem really is a dog man. He would fight anyone. Kevin from Chicago says, smaller ring favorites Lobov.
You would think.
Windows 94 says he can only run for so long. Jonathan Wilberding says, Paulie's hands look a little bit slow in sparring. He needs to make sure he warms up at his age.
That's another thing. Paulie's getting older, right? He's a retired boxer. So, there's a bunch of things that can favor Artem Lobov in this fight. I don't know what we're going to watch. I really am. All I'm going to do is sit there and throw some popcorn in my mouth. It's going to be fantastic. How could you not want to watch this event?
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat if you're going to be with us on Saturday to enjoy this along with the UFC. I think we're going to have a really fun Saturday this weekend. So Artem versus Paulie going down on top of this UFC card of Fight Night. Whoop, that's not it. There it is. Moicano versus the Korean Zombie. Let's get to the next article of news here on a Monday night. Thank you for joining us. Wait, Jesse.
Yes.
Before we get into that, I can't even believe we missed this. 55 likes. How do you feel right now?
Powerful.
You feel powerful? Chat, you feel good? Well, it's Monday. Let's start the week off with a sheetrock beating. 50 likes. I've got 50 likes. You've got 50 likes. We've got 50 likes. MMA-holes 50 likes. I've got 50 likes. You've got 50 likes. We've got 50 likes. MMA-holes 50 likes. I've got 50 likes. You've got 50 likes. We've got 50 likes. MMA-holes 50 likes. The dislikes can choke on a dick. Yeah.
Can I ask what that was?
Well, it's helping you beat up the sheetrock.
Oh, it looked like you were double jerking my my arm there.
Double jerking your arm?
You know,
What?
like,
Wonderful.
All right.
all right.
All right, everyone, get your fisticles. I hope you don't have sore fists, sore knuckles from beating up the sheetrock. Let's move on.
According to MMAnews.com, Woodley says to Cejudo, "You're annoying everybody."
Wait. Let's pump the brakes here. Tyron Woodley is saying that someone else is annoying.
Yes.
Can you repeat that title again?
Woodley says to Cejudo, "You're annoying everybody."
Okay. All right, hold on a second here. Okay, this is from Tyron Woodley, right? Are you sure that you're reading this right?
I'm 99.9% confident I'm reading that right.
So Tyron Woodley, let me get this straight, Jesse.
Yes.
Tyron Woodley is saying what?
You're annoying everybody.
And he's not talking about himself. He's not talking to himself.
He's talking to Henry Cejudo, the now double champ of the UFC.
Wonderful.
Okay, I'm curious to see what he has to say. I'm very curious about this.
All right, Tyron Woodley has some strong advice for reigning UFC flyweight and bantamweight champion Henry Cejudo. Cease and desist with the cringe. Only the words of the former UFC welterweight champ carried much more exasperation than the above paraphrase. He said, quote, "Henry Cejudo, sit down somewhere, dog. Sit down somewhere. You're annoying everybody." Tyron Woodley's comments seem to echo that of another UFC fighter who has no direct ties to Henry Cejudo, former lightweight title contender Anthony Smith, which is to say that there is no denying Henry Cejudo's talent, but that it's all the extracurricular activity that diminishes his greatness. Woodley said, quote, "He is a phenomenal fighter. It's amazing that he's able to win an Olympic gold medal, which is more important to me than a UFC belt because it's the hardest thing that you can do in combat sports. He beat Demetrius Johnson, a pound-for-pound legend, won a belt in 2 divisions, so what I'm saying is that his resume is crazy in a very short period of time, but when you start doing that extra stuff, just stop." Some of the extra stuff Woodley cited was the Burger King outfit Cejudo wore during the pre-UFC 238 face-off with Marlon Moraes, as well as all the hat props Cejudo used in said face-offs. Henry Cejudo is riding high as a reigning double champ and is even cozying up with the Bella Twins. But that did not prevent Tyron Woodley from reiterating his advice to Henry Cejudo in a straight delivery to the messenger. He said, quote, "Hey man, you a beast. Keep killing it. Keep it up in the octagon. Tone down the extraness by like 10. Take it down 10, and you said."
It's time to rant. It's time to rant. Chris is gonna rant and piss people off. It's time to rant. It's time to rant. I'm ready for a rant and get pissed off. If you dare, go away. I don't want you here anyway. Chris is gonna rant. Chris is gonna rant. Fuck. Shit, fuck.
Tyron Woodley. Are you not the person that released a song, "I'll Beat Your Ass"? Was that not you, Tyron Woodley? Tyron Woodley, are you not the person who said that the UFC is racist and everyone's racist and you're not getting a proper opportunity at the title? Is that you, Tyron Woodley? Are you the person, the champ, that has complained about everything and gotten everything you've wanted? You also complained about Usman, right? Kamaru Usman. Where? His wrestling is not as good as yours, right, Tyron Woodley? And then you get smashed for 5 rounds by Usman, the person, well, you got out-wrestled by that person. Tyron Woodley, Shut the fuck up! If there's anyone more annoying than Henry Cejudo, it is you, my friend, Tyron Woodley. And how many belts do you have right now? 0. How many gold medals do you have? 0. And you're still black. Was that racist?
What was that for?
I don't know. I think he's going to complain about that. Fuck you, Tyron Woodley, you son of a bitch. I mean, what are we doing? Like, is he for real? Is anyone going to buy this shit? Is anyone going to buy this shit from Tyron Woodley? He is calling someone else annoying. At least Henry Cejudo has a motive behind it. Tyron Woodley was just... He was doing that.
Oh, super chat.
Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, Vlad.
Call him the N-word most.
If I was DB Cooper, I would drop the N-bomb. No, I mean, it's ridiculous. And thank you, Vlad. It is so ridiculous over here. Henry Cejudo, you're annoying everybody. Jesse, what do you think about him saying this?
I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. I agree that Cejudo's cringe is a little overbearing and a little intolerable. You know, I don't like it, but it's working for him. And I don't think it's fair for another fighter to criticize what someone else is doing, if he hasn't even been successful in what he was doing. You know, that's the part that I don't like. I don't like the hypocrisy in that. But like I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, so it is what it is.
It would be better if Woodley was just calling someone out that he can fight, you know, build up a fight. But just saying that you're annoying everybody. I tell you what, he's doing something right. There is something he's doing right. You know, a 5'0" Mexican kid who basically grew up from nothing, had nothing, and turned himself into a double champ, an Olympian winner, a gold medal winner over here. Who gives a fuck what he does? It's working. The man wants to get paid. He's fucking 125 pounds. He just fought at 135. Probably has no business at 135, and he wins there.
Edwin Alexander says, can't everybody just get a bong?
That's a good point. All right, let's see what the chat thinks about what Tyron said over here. Now, Tyron Woodley, there were times where I was like, this guy is legit. He's a legit champion. 170, if you look at what he's done, it's impressive. You know, his run he went on and he defended the belts. You know, it was impressive. It's a damn shame that this man released "I'll beat your ass" and complained and cried himself into these weird jobs within the UFC as a broadcaster. I mean, just do your job and fight. And if you want to become a broadcaster, become a broadcaster. You have that opportunity. Complaining because you are black, you cannot get these things is ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Tyron Woodley, you are annoying. Chat?
Infinite Conscious says, if Cejudo was black, then Tyron would praise him. Kanoda says, what's the difference between Champ and T. Wood? 1 letter. David Flores says, Cejudo called out Tony Ferguson and Robbie Lawler. Heavy Micro Grow says, Woodley is boring as fuck. Who is Tyrone? Says Pulse Resurrected. Roberto says, Tyron is playing the game too. He's overrated as a broadcaster and commentator. Greg Blaze says, Tyron Woodley is absolutely right. Internal says, big dummy self-sabotage. Henry Sosa says, I, Henry, have been a fan of Henry's hat tricks. Kevin from Chicago says, Usman and Woodley did a UFC post-fight show. It was AIDS. JW says, Tyron Woodley, you've changed Chris. Henry Galusha says, there's no room for little crybabies, Woodley. And H says, Tyron is the worst broadcaster they have. His voice and suits are a laugh.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I do like is his...
I don't think it's fair to hate on him.
Well, I mean, he's opening that door once again. How can he, out of anybody, say someone's annoying, right? I mean, how can...
Listen, I don't know. I just... He wants a headline. Just like every fighter, they want a headline. They want to stay relevant. So I don't blame him for utilizing Henry Cejudo as a tool to get that headline. I think that was a very smart move by him. He probably is well aware that people are annoyed by him, but he sees more cringe in Cejudo right now, and Cejudo's a big draw. So he found that opportunity, and I cannot blame him for that. I get what you're saying, and it is very hypocritical for him to say these things, but I don't think it's fair to really hate on him for being smart as far as the media goes.
So he's using Henry Cejudo as a catapult to get his name back into the news?
Yeah, I think he's trying to stay relevant.
Why not use someone's name in your division? Why not do that? Someone that you could actually fight to put your name back into the headlines. That simple. Or if you're going to move up to 185, like you said you were going to do, why don't you call out a bigger boy at 185? Henry Cejudo went up to fight a bigger fighter. Tyron Woodley, why don't you go up to fight a bigger fighter? I mean, why don't you just shut your mouth? Or if you're going to open your mouth, call someone else out bigger than you. That's what Henry did. You know, like, I do not understand this. Him using Henry Cejudo to put his name in the news is ridiculous. There's so many other opportunities that makes him less cringe. Tyron Woodley's just a fucking complainer. That's what he is. He is a complete complainer. I'm over his shtick. I'm over him complaining about other people. It's annoying. You know, the guy's a talented dude. He's got a lot of talent. He's got power in his hands. He's got that wrestling. There's a lot of good things that Tyron Woodley has. Why not use those skills and maybe perhaps use your cringe in a correct way instead of going after a guy that's 125 fucking pounds? Like, really? The guys, if you were 5'5" and 125 pounds with a head the size of the earth, like, wouldn't you be trying to find ways? You're a fucking 5'10", like Adonis looking guy over here. You have a rap career, you have TMZ, you got a broadcasting with the UFC, you were a champion who defended their belt, you had everything going for you, you were a speaker for your community. Why are you so fucking annoying? What about that, Tyron Woodley? You have nothing to complain about.
No,
I'm so glad Usman fucked him up. I am so glad. I am curious to see what it is next for Tyron Woodley. Why don't you talk about that? Who's next for you? Instead of talking about poor little Henry Cejudo with his giant fucking Mexican head. All right, let's move on to the next topic.
All right. Do you feel better, Moss?
No! No!
Wonderful.
No! Oh, Conor back in the news.
All right. According to MMAnews.com, Coach Jon Kavanagh says that Conor McGregor's motivation is back. Head coach Jon Kavanagh says Conor McGregor's desire to compete at the highest level has returned. McGregor hasn't been seen in action since October 2018. He went for his second UFC lightweight title when he challenged Khabib Nurmagomedov. Things didn't go the way of the notorious one as he was submitted in the fourth round. Kavanagh sees McGregor's motivation back in full. Kavanagh was a guest on ESPN's Ariel Helwani MMA show, and he cleared up comments that he made in the late 2018 about not concern or cornering McGregor going forward if he felt the fights didn't make sense. The SBG Ireland coach needed to see McGregor motivated again, which he feels is the current reality. McGregor is currently dealing with a hand injury. Kavanagh confirmed to Helwani that the former two-division champ underwent surgery. Stick with MMA News for the latest updates on McGregor's fighting future.
So apparently, if he didn't injure his hand, he would have been back a lot sooner. That is word on the street, right? With Conor McGregor. And it is getting annoying because it's like, let's get this guy a fight already. And then he gets injured again. Yes. But apparently, Kavanaugh's saying he's going to be back by the end of the year. And I believe he will be back. Right. But it's just so hard to talk about this guy until we get an official date. And then he hurts himself again, like sparring. You know, they said he looked great and he hurts his hand. So it's like, what are we going to do? The only thing I'm curious about is if Conor does come back, will he be with his team? Will he be with SBG or will he go elsewhere to train?
I feel that this article right here is basically telling us that he's going to be with SBG again and Kavanagh will be cornering him. This was like the stepping stone for when Conor returns, which we all know he will. I think it's a stepping stone to telling us that he's going to be on that same team.
All right, let's see what the chat says. What do you think? Will he come back or not come back? And if he does come back, where is he going to train? Who is going to be in his corner?
Internal says, who cares? My guest says, hello, everyone. Greg and Blaze says, Staley, stop whining. James Leatherwood says he needs to fight Diaz 3. JW says, Conor McGregor, you've changed, Chris. Ha. The Shadow Man says, Mr. McGregor is hoping Mr. Poirier becomes champion. Conor has loyalty unlike some snakes we know, says Infinite Conscious. Troy's Heart says, yeah, who fucking cares? Eddie D says McGregor versus Woodley. Kevin from Chicago says UFC will do everything possible to make McGregor a champ again. Stalio2 says I love to bitch and moan. Greg Blaze says he will come back and get his ass beat again. James Young says Diaz been too far away to make Conor 3 interesting.
It's funny. That's what Kavanagh wants. Ariel asked him. He goes, "Who do you want?" And if he does come back, and he said he would like to see the trilogy. And then he asked him about Khabib. And he said, would you like to see that rematch? And basically Kavanagh was saying, if Conor had his head in the game, yes, he would like to see that rematch.
Yeah.
I would like to see a rematch down the road with Khabib with a more focused Conor.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see that. You know, this whole Proper 12 circus that he ran into it, you know, I mean, I don't know if he was fully there, you know? And he had that whole thing with Artem and this whole shtick. And, you know, yeah, I'm sure he was training. I'm sure he was trying to take it serious. But I don't know if he was completely mentally in this game with Khabib. And Khabib did what he had to do. Here's the thing, and Luke Thomas said this too.
I think he was. Listen.
Did Conor look the same in that fight in the beginning? Something looked off, and it's not just me saying this. Luke Thomas said a lot of people said it.
He hadn't been in the cage in a while when he fought Khabib, and on top of that, he had gotten in trouble with the law. He had gotten in trouble with drugs and drinking, and just so much was going on, and it was all Conor's fault. He had nobody to blame but himself.
Sure.
So I don't think that it was a matter of he went into the cage as a different fighter. He went into the cage as a different person.
Well,
so I think...
I mean, you're backing up what I'm saying there, though. He wasn't what he was before.
Yes, in a way, I agree with you, but I just feel that it's not really an excusable thing, because I think that he's still involved in some of that stuff, and I think that he's probably going to come back to the cage as that same person he came back with Khabib.
Okay, so in a nutshell, to wrap it up real quick, you're saying that Conor McGregor will come back exactly the same
as he
with
did
this dysfunctional act.
Yes.
Right? Now, I'm hoping that we see a little vintage Conor here. The trash talking, yes, but more focused, more poised, you know, in his approach to whoever he's fighting here. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know what we're going to see. If we see anything, I don't know what we're going to see, but I think we do at least see him one more time.
Yeah, I think that now that he has a feel for how Khabib handles a fight, I do agree that he'll find ways to sort of maneuver around that for sure. But I still think Khabib's going to get him on the ground and suffocate him.
Well, I mean, you think Khabib's going to suffocate everyone. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. But here's the thing with Conor. And until he lost to Nate Diaz, but that was at 170, short notice. It was a whole circus. Until Conor, like, really takes a loss from a guy that's just, like, not up there. I mean, the guys he lost to, I mean, which isn't many, the guys that he lost to are, like, top-tier athletes. Until he takes that L from a lower-ranked guy, I can't give up on him. I can't quite yet. Super chat, Shifra.
Conor had a foot fracture in that fight. He said the fracture made the weight cut very hard and he didn't sleep last 2 days. He looked off.
He did look off, and listen.
You want to start the timer?
Any of these fighters, yeah, we will start that timer. I thought. Thank you for the donation. If you want to extend the show, here we go. Timer's on, and whatever you donate, we'll extend it that much longer. Say, save the show. All right. We can make a million excuses for the guy, but when it comes down to it, he lost to a 27-0 Khabib. That's what he lost to right there. So there's not many excuses. I can go in there and say, well, he did this wrong, he did that wrong. But he went in there and fought a 27-0 guy. No one's beaten him. Some have looked better than others, but no one's beaten Khabib. I want to see Conor go back in there and lose to a guy that is a lower ranked guy that has blemishes on his record. You could throw the Diaz thing out there, but that was at 170. That was a yoked up Conor taking a fight just to save a card. He didn't even have to take that fight. Can't even talk about Floyd Mayweather. That's just garbage over there. That's just horse shit. That's a whole nother way of style of fighting, and against a guy that's 50-0, for God's sakes. I want to see him fight a Gaethje. I want to see him fight even a Kukui. But I think it would make more sense for Conor to not go back in against a Kukui for him. I would like to see that, being selfish.
I like the Gaethje idea.
That is the one.
That idea.
That is the one to make.
Yeah,
and apparently, according to Kavanagh, this is the fight that they are not opposed to. If he didn't hurt his hand, we might have seen the Gaethje fight happen, according to Kavanagh. Who knows? All right, let's see what the chat says, and we'll move on to the next story. With 3 minutes left, will someone save the show? We'll find out very soon.
Van Chimman says Conor's gynecologist sternly was against him fighting. Eddie D says Joe Duffy. Boss Kogar says Khabib is boring. Post-resurrected Conor versus Tension.
He's lobbying for that bullshit.
49-1. Watch Castillo fights is internal. Infinite says a fractured foot is very bad in a fight, especially for a striker. Conor will beat Khabib next time. Windows 94 says Tony versus Khabib is the most important fight in UFC history, in my opinion. Pearman Boy says he has to fight Justin Gaethje. James Turner,
It
Conor.
seems like the only fight, right? I mean, Diaz is fighting Pettis, right? I mean, then again, he now with the injury, you can say, well, he'll wait for that fight, but I don't know anymore. Nate Diaz is a wild card now. You don't know who the hell he's going to get back in with.
Yeah, I don't stick on the whole Nate Diaz thing because it's a little weird to me. Like, I'm not quite sure that that's going to happen. But I do like the idea of Gaethje, and I think that it could line up for some potential fights down the road too, because I have an article in here. We probably won't get to it, but it was talking about how Dana White said he believes that Tony Ferguson will have his next fight will be the winner of Poirier Khabib.
All right, here we go.
You can't stop the Siberian Express. Choo-choo, motherfucker.
All right, Kevin from Chicago coming in.
Here's $2 for my 2-minute phone call. Save the show and open the phone. Got lots to talk about Bellator and boxing over the weekend.
There you go.
Quick squad.
All right, so there's Kevin. He's adding 2 minutes to the show. We have only 2 minutes left in Save the Show. So if you want to save it, drop a donation. That denomination will go that much longer. We do have to talk about Daniel Cormier as well, who has some interesting things to talk about there. And that will probably be our next story. And if we have a substantial donation, we will open up the phone lines and get your thoughts as well. But with 1 minute and 45 seconds left, doesn't look very good, Jesse. We're going to be live tomorrow for not Bare Knuckle, for the Contender Series. Look out! Real coming in. Real Bets is coming in.
Save the show. Tony Ferg, Khabib and any top 10 lightweight smash that cokehead Conor. Everyone sign up to BetDSI. Starting from $100, I now have my MMA hole bonus at 98% close to $3K.
Nice.
Oh, shit.
Tune out and cash out.
There you
Hashtag Saviti White Show.
Good job, bro.
Tune out and cash out.
I want to point out that dude says he's about to drop 20 once he figures out how to do it.
All right, so we got Super Chat down below, or there's a link in the description. You can do it that way as well. 45 seconds left. Hurry. We got 7 more minutes on the show because of those donations. And here we go. Jess, look what we got here. Cree.
Done. He will get murdered by any of them.
There you go. So Cree saying he'll get murdered by any of them. That puts us at 9 more minutes to save the show. The people are coming in trying to save the MMA-holes Hour. 142 watching, hanging with the boys.
Hanging with the boys.
All right, 20 seconds left, Jesse, and I see the Ian Lev experience coming in. Will this get in under the buzzer, Jesse, with a 5 spot coming in? Oh, my God, the drama on a Monday night. A lot of people want to save the show, and I don't blame them. We've got a lot of articles to get to, and we would love to open up the phone lines. Super Chat coming in before the buzzer.
An extra 5 minutes for the 5 BJs that Kevin gave to 5 priests. Hang up on that moron.
Wonderful.
Thank you, the Ian Lev experience, and thank you to everyone that donated. We will be extending the show 14 more minutes. Thank you. And let's get to the next story, and we'll open up the phone lines immediately after.
All right.
So I know the people want to talk. 7:14. Here we go. Thank you again. And boom, there we go. 14 on the clock. All right, Jesse, what is the next thing in the news?
Okay, according to MMAnews.com, Cormier says the Miocic rematch might be his final fight. Daniel Cormier had always been consistent on his retirement date. He has maintained that when he turned 40 years old that he will decide to call it a career. But March 20th, 2019 has come and gone, and yet Cormier has a fight booked against Stipe Miocic to headline 241 this August in Anaheim, California. For what it's worth, Dana White has been vocal in his belief that Cormier's career can span for at least 3 additional fights before the future Hall of Famer retires: Brock Lesnar, Stipe Miocic, and Jon Jones. The Brock Lesnar fight recently fell through, so that would then leave Miocic and Jones as Cormier's final 2 fights. But in a recent interview with TMZ, it looks like the next fight against Miocic may well be the heavyweight champion's last. He said, quote, I always said that I was going to fight till I was about to turn 40, which would have been March, on a card March 2nd. I couldn't make that one, so if I hold true to what I was saying, then this would be the final one. I don't anticipate fighting much past this. Daniel Cormier has not forgotten the date that he had inscribed to himself for when he would hang it up. But for those who join Dana White in his desire to see Cormier compete for a bit longer and or watch a trilogy fight against Jon Jones, DC left more than enough wiggle room for at least one more fight in his expression of uncertainty if he will fight much after his UFC 241 defense against Stipe Miocic. UFC 241 takes place August 18, 2019 from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, and will be headlined by Daniel Cormier defending the heavyweight championship against Stipe Miocic, and co-headlined by Nate Diaz making his long-awaited return to the octagon against Anthony Pettis in a welterweight bout.
All right, here's my thoughts on this. First of all, I think this is a leverage thing by Daniel Cormier. I think this is and we're going to open up the phone lines in a second. I think that DC is planting the seed right now. He's basically saying, well, if he loses to Stipe, he's out. He's going to retire. He already beat him already. He doesn't have much to lose. And if Stipe wins the rematch, Stipe holds on to that belt, does whatever he has to do with that thing, and he could ride off into the sunset. He got paid. He's a broadcaster. He's good to go.
Yeah.
If he wins the fight, he can hint at retirement.
Yes.
Make this whole dramatic thing to lobby for some big money fight against Jon Bones Jones, the third fight. That's what I'm thinking is happening here. I feel if DC loses, he will be gone. If DC beats Stipe, and convincingly beats Stipe, it's not a fucking complete war, he destroys Stipe again, then he will say, it's over, wink at Jesse, and then keep the door open for Dana White to march through and say, here's a bucket of money, fight Jon Jones the third time. That's my thing. What do you think?
I think Stipe is going to be his last fight.
Okay. So you think Stipe is it? Let us know in the chat what you think, and I am going to get the phone lines ready. Now, remember, we did talk about this evening, 10 more years for Dana White. We have some fights this weekend, a lot of fights. UFC, bare knuckle. Tomorrow's the Contender Series. We're going to be live for all that shite. So hang with the boys with us.
Hang with the boys.
That dude says...
Super chat.
We got Cree coming in. What up, Cree? With the 5.
DC ran his mouth like a bee hash about Stipe. Lost my respect.
Ooh.
He is a good fighter, but talk about cringy motherfuckers.
I can see the angle of DC being cringy. I can see that. As much as I love DC, I can see it. You know, he's had moments of disrespecting other fighters, but I think for the most part, DC as a fighter hasn't been that bad.
Do you think he disrespected Stipe? Why? Because he said Stipe was entitled?
Well,
because in a way, if we were to really get like semantical about this,
I'm going to add another 5, by the way, because Cree's been
DC
pretty cool.
fought twice after his fight with Stipe. Stipe hasn't fought once since his fight with DC, and DC's continuously defending his belt. You know, it's like it kind of is as if Stipe were entitled in that sense, because Stipe doesn't want to take any other fights, and he doesn't want to risk his ranking right now because of the fight that he wants. And I get it. Fighters are in some way entitled to have the fight that they desire, but to just sit there and not do anything until you get the fight you want, I mean, that's a little spoiled if you ask me.
I think the way Stipe approached it, it was kind of cringy, and DC had to handle it a certain way. But Stipe deserved the rematch. I believe with that, even though he got knocked out, and I think Cyborg deserves a rematch against Amanda Nunes. I think both of those champs deserve a rematch. That's my opinion. But, you know, DC held out and he wanted to fight, you know, Brock Lesnar, and that's cringy right there. But you can't knock him, like you said. You know, I mean, the guy has to get paid. You know, he wants to get paid. He's 40 years old, you know. So I don't knock either of them in that situation. I think Stipe kind of shot himself in the foot because of his approach of how he attacked Cormier. He could have lobbied for that fight. I just think he went at it wrong. Yeah. But that's just not his game, Stipe. You know, he's not a trash talker. He's very bad at that. But he's a good fighter. And probably one of the best heavyweights that ever held a strap. Yeah. I mean, look what he's done. The defenses. Stipe was a damn good heavyweight. All right, here we go. Heavyweight champ. 516-522-0267. Get back into the chat and give us your calls. Like to know what you think. What's on your mind?
Uncle Creepy says DC and Godzilla have the same body type. Roberto Lopez says he fucks Stipe over. Can I notice anymore when Conor does this, people call him savvy. Internal says JBH likes guys 40s. 42 to be exact.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Kevin from Chicago, you're live with the MMA-holes. What's on your mind, bud?
First off, Ian Love, you're a little rat Jew, and you'll get smashed by any fighter, anyone of any note. Got to get that off my chest real quick. My second point is, let me think. Chael Sonnen, I think he cashed out a long time ago. He was pretty much done after the Bisping fight. What I say, he turtled up in the fetal position, he got smashed again, just like he does every fight. So nothing surprising there. And Aaron Pico, the thing about Aaron Pico is his wrestling style. He's good on his feet, but when it comes to top control and his ground game, he was never known for that in high school. And then he was like a freestyle wrestler, which is you're good on your feet, you're good with takedowns, but when he gets to the mat, it's a whole other thing. It's a whole different level. He's not really known for that. That's why Ben Askren used to dominate. That's why Ben Askren is dominated, because he's really good mat control. He's really good on top. And my third point is, do you guys know who Big Baby Jarrell Miller is?
No. Help us out.
Okay. He's a boxer who got popped for, he had EPO in his system, he had HGA in his system. He was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua before Andy Ruiz replaced him. And he got popped like 2 months ago, and over the weekend he's at the fights, he's laughing it up, giddy and smiling, talking about, who should I sign with, and I think I'm going to fight this guy, that guy sucks, blah, blah, blah. Like, you see TJ Dillashaw, he got suspended for 2 years. This Jarrell Miller only got suspended for 6 months. So when people talk shit about MMA fighters doing steroids and stuff and they're cheating, this dude's only getting 6 months for having HGH, EPO, and another banned substance in his body.
Okay.
And in the interview, he's just all smiling, giddy, talking about what he's going to do next. It's like, dude, don't you have any shame? Like, fall back, disappear for at least like 6 months, and he has no shame, just showing his face, talking about what he's going to do next. You see T.J. Dillashaw in interviews, he's like all down in the dumps, saying, "Oh man, I don't know, sorry I did that, I shouldn't have did that." But this guy, man, boxing is just a whole nother animal. Let the next person call in.
All right. So I don't know where you went with the boxing over there in the EPO. I kind of tuned that out. But man, usually I'm with Kevin. Like usually I can hang on to what he's talking about there. He completely lost me in that call. What do you think?
Were you just zoning out?
No, I was trying to hang in there. Usually I hang in there with Kevin's calls. He makes good points. But when he went the boxing direction, he completely lost me. And Aaron Pico, completely out of left field. Aaron Pico fought this weekend. He was on the preliminaries. And he did not look very good. He did the wrestling. He tried that approach. He's with Jackson Wink now.
He got knocked out.
And look what happened. The poor guy was winning the damn fight. And now he loses. He's 4-3-0. The kid's still really young. But I don't know, man. It's just, it's discouraging. It's got to be really, he's going to become a head case. His chin is not what, I mean, he's getting cleanly knocked out, but it's just, I don't know what we're going to do with this guy. I don't think he's really that good of a prospect anymore.
If he gets another loss, he's going to be tied up with his wins.
He's going to be Artem Lobov. He's got super crazy power in his hands, and that's it. He's a one-trick pony. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe when he gets older, he can pull it together. Anyway, let's get some more calls in. 516-522. 0267 calls up. We got 9 more minutes in showtime. Love to know what you think about the Dana White situation. 10 more years as well. We have the fights this weekend. We have bare knuckle. There you go. Hannah Goldie's fighting. She's 4-0. She's been interviewed by the mystical one over here. We have UFC Moicano versus the Korean Zombie going down Saturday, going into Lobov versus Paulie. So that's happening on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to this Saturday card. We're going to be going... What time does it start, the prelims?
4.
The prelims are at 4. Could you imagine this marathon, Jesse? Let this sink into your head. We go live at 4, and we just run through the UFC, roll into bare knuckle. I mean, what a fucking day. We'll have some pizza. We'll hang with the boys.
No pizza.
No pizza, huh? Going back healthy?
We've been trying to get back on a healthy streak. So.
All right. Yeah, we started today again. We fell off for a couple days.
Salad.
Last night I went bad.
We'll have salad.
All right, salad tomorrow? Saturday? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I want to know in the chat, will you be here if we start at 4 p.m. and go through the UFC card, run into bare knuckle? Will you be in attendance for that? Let us know in the chat with the yes or no.
Kevin from Chicago says, Ian Lev, you scared, you hook-nosed rat, ring, ring.
Whoa.
Internal says, hot dogs. Troy's Heart says, Dana will bury the UFC because of his ego. Dude Chronic says, tacos. Roberto Lopez, Lobov versus Paulie is better than the UFC event. What?
Well, I mean, the last time was really good, right? You were in love with that last card.
I love bare knuckle. I love it. Ian says, Kevin, you are not a challenge. Cree says, we'll try to. My girlfriend might kick my ass. LOL. This is what you do. This is how you get her to not kick your ass. You get her to sit down with you and watch it with you. And you be kind and sweet and even offer to cuddle. If you're not a cuddler, it'll blow her mind that you offered to cuddle. And that's how you get to watch what you want. Because the fact that you're cuddling her, she won't give a fuck what you're watching.
Wait, what? You're supposed to cuddle? Wait, hold on. So you have to...
If he's not a cuddler.
You have to lure her in with cuddling and then cuddle for what, 7 hours?
Like just like kind of lick her ass a little bit, and then
lick her ass. What if he doesn't like
not
to lick her?
literally, like
what?
theoretically,
Wonderful.
you know, or maybe make a deal with her. Say, if you sit down and watch this with me, we'll do this. Maybe something that she's always wanted to do.
Well, what about this? What if Kree says, hey, listen, there's a couple watching MMA together. Let's watch with them.
There you go.
And then during the show, we got to get Kree's girlfriend's name, right? And then during the show, we'll shout out Kree's girlfriend. Be like, yo, shout out Bertha, whatever her name is, right? And be like, Bertha and Kree, little snuggle fest on the couch watching it, hanging with the boys.
Hanging with the boys.
Maybe we can convince her to hang in there, and Kree can last with us. What do you think?
All right.
All right. You are live with the MMA-holes. What's your name, and what is on your minds?
I wanted to talk to JBH and them about Stipe versus DC too.
Okay. What's on your mind?
I wanted to ask them about the eye pokes.
Hold on. Lower the background real quick because we got a little feedback.
I think I'm talking. I don't know. I think I'm talking then, to be honest with you.
All right. There we go. You sound like Bobby Boucher. You ever get that before?
Say what?
All right, good. What do you got?
I was just wondering, what do you think that the eye pokes that DC did against Stipe won him that fight? I just want to know.
What do I think about it?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah. Listen, I think that any illegal move should be called. I said the same thing about Smith versus Jon Jones with the illegal knees. I think that any illegal move, no matter whose side you're on, like I'm happy DC won that fight, but I do think it should have been called. You know, I do think it's unfair to Stipe. I'm just saying that as far as him calling him entitled and stuff like that, I don't think it was very far off because DC was taking fights up until this point, and Stipe has just kind of been sidelined, it feels. So
I understand what you're saying with that, but honestly, I think Stipe is going to get him this fight though, because he's going to be ready for them little Jon Jones moves. But we'll see though, I guess.
I hope you're wrong about that. I'd like to see DC retire with his belt.
Would you? Yeah, he's a good dude, man. But I like Stipe. Gotta say it. I love Stipe.
We'll see. We'll put a bet down on it.
All right. I was just calling to see if I get through and see if I can talk to you. That's what's up. That's
Appreciate the call, man. All right, get out of here. The best was he asked a good question. That was actually a good answer by JBH.
Question.
But the best part was when you were talking. He's like, yeah. I thought he was jerking off. Like, did you hear that? That's why I started laughing. I'm like, is he jerking off right now? I think he was.
No,
I don't know.
Wasn't. Stop
Great
it.
call, but he was
just
like,
agreeing.
All right, put JBH on the screen.
Don't be ridiculous.
All right, Jesse, explain. What do you think?
Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A cumin.
516-522-0267. Call in this dysfunctional show. Thank you to the callers. We're having a little fun hanging with the boys.
Hanging with the boys.
And here we go.
Unknown caller, you're live with the MMA-holes. What's your name and what's on your mind?
Hey, pull up that Bellator card real quick.
Sure.
Mas, can you do that? Yeah, pull up the fighters, one of the Israeli fighters. Hamza?
Yeah.
Ozali or something like that.
Is he on the main or the prelims?
I'm not sure if he was on the main. I think he was on the prelims.
Okay. You're making me work here. Okay. I'm pulling up Hamza. Where's this guy? Hold on. I'll let you know when we get him. Haim Ghazali, is that who you're talking about?
Yep, that's him.
Okay. What you got here? 9-6-0.
Now, what was his record? Who was the guy he fought?
Gustavo Wurlitzer.
What was his record?
Oh, shit.
22-23-0.
23 losses. Are you serious? They gave him some dude with 23 losses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because he's a fucking Jew, and Jews can't fight, so they got to feed him these little cans to
what the fuck?
Get their little egos up.
Thank you. All right. 516-522-0267. I mean, I got to give it to Kevin. He really comes out of left field with these things. Like, he's talking about this guy, Haim Ghazali, who's on the preliminaries, won by submission. He fought a guy. I mean, he makes a good point. He fought a guy 23 losses. But, like, that was so out of left field. He just wanted to say Jew. That's all he wanted to do. I got to give him credit. He wanted the crowbar Jew in there.
Kree says that he's going to get his girl to watch, but we have to give her a shout out.
All right, let us know her name. You're live with the MMA-holes. What is your name and what is on your mind?
JB, suck my dick, nigger.
No, he's back. There we go.
Okay.
All right, 516-522-0267. Call up the MMA-holes. We got 2 more minutes left in the show. So There we go. Have you ever been called the N-word before?
Yes.
Oh, so that's not the first time.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
That was actually JBH's father that just called in. Yeah, it was really weird. He does that. You are live with the MMA-holes. What is your name and what is on your mind?
I was wondering what you thought about Anthony Pettis.
What's your name?
Versus Nate Diaz.
Yes.
Jeremy.
What is it?
Jeremy.
I was just wondering what y'all thought about Nate Diaz versus Anthony Pettis.
Okay.
To win. Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy. Nate Diaz versus Anthony Pettis. We're going to answer right now. All right, so
Nate Diaz versus
shy, that guy.
Anthony Pettis.
What do you think, Jesse? I'll let you go first.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? It's fire. You don't know. I love it. What do you think? What do you mean you don't know? You don't like it?
I like it.
You don't care? Come on. There's no way you don't care about that fight. Jeremiah.
Yo, whoever did that to JBH, don't sleep, mofo.
Jeremiah's coming in hot. There you go. Thank you, Jeremiah.
Wonderful.
You're awesome.
I think Diaz versus Pettis is absolute fire. One more call, 516-522-0267. I love it, man. Keep calling in. Have some fun here. We only have 52 seconds left in the show. And yeah, Nate Diaz versus Anthony Pettis. How could it be bad? You know it's going to be a fun fight. And Nate walking in, doing his strut, doing that fucking rolled over shoulder thing. That underbite shit that he's got going on there. All right? I'm in. I'm looking forward to Nate back in the cage. Whether you like or hate the guy, how do you not want to see him fight? You are live with the MMA-holes. What is your name and what is on your mind?
It's Henry.
Henry.
I got my money on the crazy. Last time he took that year elbow. I was just wondering what you are feeling about this one.
The Korean Zombie, correct?
Yes, I got 10 tacos on him right as soon as it came out.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Let's talk about it. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. That's Henry Solstice coming in, and let's end the show at that. Korean Zombie versus Moicano, okay? And the clock is up. Thank you for that. Let's go over here. What do you think, Jesse? Putting some tacos on the Zombie. You like it? You don't like it?
I do like it.
Okay.
I do like it a lot, actually.
So JBH says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think the Korean Zombie, man, his last fight, right? We look at his last fight, and, he always brings it, but it was a pretty brutal loss, if you look at it. 14-5-0 versus 13-2-0. What do you do?
Sorry, I was going down and looking at something.
All right, what do you want to look at?
Oh, no, it's fine.
I'll pull it up. You want to see anything else?
Well, Henry brought up the elbow.
So, okay. Yeah, I am worried about placing a bet on this fight. I don't know what we're going to see coming back into the cage from the Korean Zombie. So, I'd be a bad person to ask. I don't like the bet. I might be picking the Korean Zombie, but I don't know if I have the balls to put money on him. The Yair Rodriguez fight is what we're talking about. It was literally, I think the Korean Zombie was winning that fight, and Yair came back. It was close. A lot of people were either way. But it doesn't matter because Yair Rodriguez made it very official with that spinning elbow twisty thing that he did.
Yeah.
And he went out cold.
Yeah.
So you got to think the Korean Zombie is going to come back with a vengeance. He beat Bermudez in his comeback fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jose Aldo was in 2013. I don't have enough from the Korean Zombie at this state to say, okay, he's a guaranteed lock in this fight. So I don't like the bet, to be honest. I hope you win. I don't like it. But Jess, what do you think?
I like the bet. I think that's, I wouldn't say it's like the safe bet, but it is something that he could win on. So I do like it. I wouldn't put money on it myself because I'm a fucking scaredy cat.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the bet, and I think that he does stand a chance, And they're both coming off losses. So
all right, where is he?
Bet.
What are the odds on this fight? And we're going a little bit longer, but all right, here we go. So Korean Zombie is a plus 155. So, I mean, there's a reason why he's an underdog here, right, in this fight. And where does the fight take place? Let's get everything in here before we can make an official decision. Let us know in the chat if you think it's a shitty fight, shitty bet or a good bet. Love to know what you think in the chat. And this is taking place in Bon Secours Wellness Arena. Greenville, United States. So there we go. So, man, I don't know, JBH. I want the Korean Zombie to win. I have a little soft spot for the guy. He's fun to watch, but kind of leaning towards Moicano.
As most people would, I think.
All right, chat. What do you think?
David Flores says, that dude has a major crush on Jesse Bell. What dude? Reefer on the Fridge says, Zombie Bet Money, Duchronic, juiced up Aldo. Duchronic also says only 4 losses. Joe Rod says, Jung gets drawn into brawls too often. It's kind of his Achilles heel. The Ian Love experience says, Kevin, a cavalry charge against tanks, Polacks, or are retards. DB Cooper says, bet it all, man. Kainoda says, wish we talked about JBH at the wedding.
Should we show the picture real quick?
Let's not.
No, you don't want to show it? I mean, we had some interesting comments over there, Jesse.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize that we had such a young audience. I thought for sure we had an older audience, but then I saw the comments. I was like, well, I mean, there are some kids. Look at JBH. Ooh, yeah. It's my date for the wedding this weekend, rocking a dress, and it was wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful.
And there you go. That's your fat material for the evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. And let us know in the comments down below, what do you think about that bet, the Korean Zombie, this Saturday? Should he place the bet? Is he going to win? No, yes. Let us know. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Jesse, say those magical words.
Don't be an a-hole. Be an MMA